Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video brought to you by the Freedom Eagle. Political news and commentary with a conservative lean. Today, we're going to talk about President Joe Biden walking around the Lincoln Memorial without a mask just hours after signing a major executive order which requires that mask be worn on federal property. After we talk about this kerfuffle, we'll take a listen to the new White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki talk about the maskless president after being pressed on the issue Thursday afternoon by Peter Doocy of Fox News. Psaki is caught in scramble mode, to say the least, and what flies out of her mouth is hilarious, sad, and, of course, hypocritical. But let's first discuss President Biden. Mask up, the 46th president stated in this tweet. Yeah, about that. While the president can't tell state and local officials how to handle the pandemic in terms of specific requirements, this urging is all a part of Biden's 100-day masking challenge, as he calls it, which, just to state again, will require that masks be worn and proper distancing be had in all federal buildings. This also includes federal land and federal employees as well as contractors. Masks must be worn on planes, trains, buses, etc. So, planes, trains, and automobiles. Sorry, folks, it was just too easy. I mean, Joe Biden is our president, so if he wants to require masks for all federal buildings and property, that's okay. He does have that right. However, the entire point of this video is, a case of rules for thee, not for me. Yet another person on the left side of the aisle making rules for others that they themselves just can't seem to follow. In these past 12 months, if they've taught us anything at all, it's that there's always a caveat to slipping on the mask and distancing. It's all about who you are and or the cause. That's oh so important in their rules, which they have said. If you have the right letter next to your name or you're bonding with a group of people for what is deemed as a righteous cause, it's all good. If Biden is named president-elect, as we look at this image that we all remember, if he's named president-elect just a few days after election night, then you can do this, and it's all good. The media will cheer you on and give you a pass, talk about how grand you are and how grand the occasion is. However, if you do this after a college football game on that very same day, yep, it's a super spreader. Watch out who these people think they are, these crazy people trying to kill grandma. But back to Joe Biden. Mr. President, just hours after his inauguration and the signing of the mask mandate on federal property, there he is at the Lincoln Memorial, just as barefaced as the day he was born. So, let's take a quick look. Now, I will say that this appears to be shot for television, either live television, television for later, a feature, a documentary. It obviously looks quite staged, and yes, he is alone, and yes, I know he gets tested 100 times. Yes to all of that, but also yes to that's not the daggone point. That's not the point. It's a mandate that he signed just hours before. You must wear a mask on federal property unless there's a caveat at the bottom in 5-point font talking about video shoots for pomp and circumstance. Unless that is the case, which it of course is not, then he needs to put his mask on. Joe, bad optics to be signing a mask mandate and then be, not wearing a mask. Well, let's now roll on to Thursday afternoon. New White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, or Psaki, fielded a question from Peter Doocy of Fox News about the issue. And let me just state the obvious. It won't be long before the left hates Doocy, just like the right hates Jim Acosta. Let's just put that right out there. It's just the nature of political division. So before we roll the clip, let's just talk about how Psaki, sort of like what I just did, she sort of just stammers around. And then let's listen to her reasoning as to why President Biden was not wearing his mask. Oh, and by the way, remember how Biden's entire platform was defeating the virus and how Trump was a big dope for not doing it? Well, just like magic, now only Biden can go maskless in a federal building, It just doesn't matter because, as Jen Psaki will say in this clip, we've got more important things to worry about, according to her. Let's roll that clip.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
At the inaugural
At the memorial, yes.
I think, Steve, he was celebrating an evening of a historic day in our country, and certainly he signed the mask mandate because it's a way to send a message to the American public about the importance of wearing masks, how it can save tens of thousands of lives. We take a number of COVID precautions, as you know, here in terms of testing, social distancing, mask wearing ourselves as we do every single day. But I don't know that I have more for you on it than that.
But as Joe Biden often talks about, it is not just important the example of power, but the power of our example. Was that a good example for people who are watching who might not pay attention normally?
Well, Steve, I think the power of his example is also the message he sends by signing 25 executive orders, including almost half of them related to COVID, the requirements that we're all under every single day here to ensure we're sending that message to the public. Yesterday was a historic moment in our history. He was inaugurated as president of the United States. He was surrounded by his family. We take a number of precautions, but I think we have bigger issues to worry about at this moment in time.
So, right out of the gate, did she call him Steve? As in Steve Ducey? No, that's Steve is his daddy. That is Peter Ducey, the son. So, one strike right there for the new press secretary. Then she went on to talk about celebrating. So, celebration time is cool, right? Well, remember what I said. There's always a caveat to the mask wearing if you work with the right party or you support the right party. She also said that President Biden signed the executive order to send a message that mask wearing is significant and important as he himself proceeds to stand there without a mask. That's another strike. Then she uses the whole, well, it's all gravy because he's tested and they were tested. All God's children are tested. Well, okay, if all we need is a good old-fashioned test, then what's the mask mandate on federal ground all about? Her position is that President Biden was okay not to wear a mask because of the test. Of course, everything she says totally dodges the point of Ducey's question. It doesn't matter the reason for not wearing a mask. It doesn't matter if he was tested. The point is that Biden signed an executive order and he breaks it faster than Maxine Waters can say, impeach 45. Biden ran on the pandemic. That was his entire platform. Orange man bad. Trump brewed up the entire virus in the basement of the White House, and he can't stop it, so vote for me and I'll take care of it. That was Biden's whole thing. Yet the press secretary on Biden's second official day in office says that we shouldn't worry about Biden breaking his own mask mandate because we have bigger things to worry about. That's rich. That's a good one. So, every single day since March of 2020, all the Democrats and leftist media have talked about was the daily death count. Charts on the screen all day and all night on all the newscasts. Another few thousand dead every day, all on Trump's watch. And we can't wait until we can get him out of there so we can fix this problem. Well, Trump's out. You guys won. And on day 2 of the Biden administration, the press secretary says they have bigger fish to fry. That's cute. That's a good one. These folks are so ridiculous. So let's just take a quick trip down Fireball Lane, otherwise known as the streets of America, during the summer and fall of 2020. Countless chaos, but it was justified, though, right? It was important. Chalk it up to fighting the good fight, no issues. But any event that Donald Trump held during mid to late 2020, super spreaders. Those are super spreaders. It's odd how the left never participated in any super spreader events or spontaneous gatherings. Funny how that worked and continues to work. Quite interesting. Look, folks, it all boils down to this. People were essentially forced inside their homes for months. Kids couldn't go to school. Adults couldn't go to work. People couldn't see their parents or grandparents. They were placed in a bubble. Heck, some areas are still living like that, yet the federal mandate on mask wearing does not apply if you're in, as The press secretary put it, celebration mode. So, please give us all a break. We're not buying that nonsense. The economy was destroyed, lives destroyed, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Yet there's that caveat once again. Rules for the other people, you folks. The folks that makes the wheels turn, you people. You can't do anything. But, Bill de Blasio can stand out there and dance with his wife in Times Square on New Year's Eve while you peons had to stay home and watch him because you're just not important. You don't matter. The pandemic is very real, but the elitist game is also all too real. Joe Biden said at the inauguration that the darkest days of the pandemic are ahead. But yet, like magic, check out these news reports. The virus has just seemed to peak now that the new president has taken oath. That's interesting. I wonder how that happened. Funny how that works. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay responsible and stay safe, but also stay alert. Protect yourself, but don't be fooled. This whole thing stopped being about the actual thing about 30 days after the thing started. All I can say is buckle up for the hypocrisy ride, and don't forget to wear your mask. So, what are your thoughts on President Joe Biden's first few days, his mask mandate, the fact that he broke his own mandate just hours after he signed the thing? What are your thoughts on the poor and silly excuse tossed out there by the new press secretary? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Healthy and respectful debate is always welcome. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you later.